Hello viewers, welcome to yet another exciting episode of your favorite show, Amana Wave, a program where we talk everything farming. And today we are in Greendale at Pachihera Poultry, and I'm with Linda, a very passionate young farmer. Linda, I'm amazing with guys. She's got over 40 breeds of Roadrunners, and want here to tell you your story. Good Arkumbos farms say I was gonna say because what we've seen on ground so far is pointing to a very successful project. Linda, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you so much. Point of correction, not a young farmer anymore, because when I started this project, it was actually a retirement, something that I wanted to do on retirement. So I'm no longer a young farmer, but I'm a close to retired someone who's now venturing into farming.
Thank you so much, Linda, for that correction. And as we dive into it straight, Linda, can you please introduce yourself? Who is Linda and to Pachihera Poultry?
Okay, so my name is Linda, and I started Pachihera Poultry around 2021. So when I started this chicken business, I didn't know much about chickens. I had no idea. It was actually an idea that I got from my nephew, but at that moment I wasn't passionate. Well, I grew up with my mom. She was doing broilers, but I was in the corporate world, and it never crossed my mind that one day I'll venture into chicken production. But yeah, he saw the idea. I actually started with the trying error, but I got hooked, and now I'm so passionate about it, and I cannot talk of anything else other than chickens.
How did that trial and error phase go? Was it successful, or there were some pitfalls?
Yeah, there were hiccups when we started, because we started with point of lay chickens, and we were importing the chickens. So the first batch that we imported, I think we bought two different breeds. On the two different breeds, we had one rooster and 2 hens per breed. So it was 2 roosters and 4 hens. It was unfortunate that all the other chickens couldn't make it to Harare except for 1 rooster. I was heartbroken because importing those pure breeds to Zimbabwe is costly. There are a lot of costs that are involved. So it was part of my savings, and I was heartbroken. Okay, I've lost so much money. Now I have 1 rooster. What do I do with the rooster? But thanks to my nephew, he said, no, we really have to try again. I was a bit skeptical then. I was like, you know what, we cannot continue putting in money on things that you're not guaranteed that you can make it.
On investment.
But yeah, he pushed me, and here we are. We then started with 4 breeds, and now we are.
So when he pushed you, you then had to bring in another batch.
Yes, we had to bring in another batch. That time we did not only, because this time we're bringing only 2 breeds. That time we did not only bring the 2 breeds, but we brought in 4 breeds.
Okay. So Linda, you spoke about this as your retirement package, and in your introduction you told us that you quit your job. Can you tell us about that transition? What made you quit to do farming? And had you seen the figures? Because on a monthly, if you are on a 8 to 5 job, you are guaranteed that by the end of the month I will get something. What made you choose this?
Okay, so what happened is, 2021, it was just after COVID. So prior to COVID, I was comfortable with my job. I'm sure if COVID didn't happen, I couldn't be where I am today. So as we were working, remember there was the lockdowns and stuff. So the company asked us to work from home. So I was then working from home. But when you're working from home, I was working for a mining company. When you're working from home, it means you're no longer getting your fuel allowance. All the other allowances, they were cut like in half. To me, that was a big pinch, because if I'm getting fuel allowance, even if I decide to go to work using public transport, it means the money is still mine. I could do other things with that money. So now I could feel the pinch. I'm not going to work every day, and my allowances are cut in half. Now I decided I need to come up with an extra income. Although I had said, okay, I was okay with working, but I had other things that I was doing on the side. And I was like, okay, when I stop working, this is what I'm going to pursue. But I really wanted something that would sustain me. So at that moment, I was now like, when you're thrown into the deep end, you, even if you don't know how to swim, you have to learn to swim to survive. So that's what happened. I had to survive. So everything else that I was trying at that moment, it was bringing in money, but it was not enough. Then after COVID, the company also had suffered. So the monies were not like coming as they used to. So they said, okay, now what we're going to do is from the reduced allowances, they said we are going to reduce the number of days that you'll be working. I now started working from, I was now working Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. It means now my salary was also cut. And I had expenses like, rentals, a whole lot of bills that I wanted to fund. All the other projects that I was doing on the side, again, they were not paying. It's like I was now into a stage where I was thinking, okay, it actually took me back to, when growing up, my dad was a civil servant. And with civil servants, when they reach 65, they retire. So I'm grateful he managed to build the family house. But other than that, he could not live sort of like a business or a legacy that we could run as a family.
That you can inherit.
Yes, that you can inherit. So I say to myself, this is not what I want. I want a project that even when I'm incapacitated, I should be earning. So when I was choosing now, that's when this idea came from my nephew. I said, okay, let's try those chicken. I've seen a lot of people who are doing them in South Africa. They're actually doing well. Then I said, okay, we start. Before the second batch arrives, we were already taking bookings for the chicks. I even said, why can't we wait for the chickens to arrive? Then we see the first chicks, then we start taking bookings. Then you say, no, you have to be positive. You have to have faith. This is going to work. We started taking bookings. Before you know it, we are failing to supply the demand. So he was like, after a few months, he was like, okay, so what do you think now about the business? I said, no, you can't tell me anything. I'm hooked. I'm not changing. This is it. I've made up my mind. So, yeah.
So to many, COVID-19 or COVID was a catastrophe. But to people like you, it gave you an opportunity to see beyond the everyday. And, it came also with some of us, we started exercising, though we have now relapsed. But while it was a catastrophe, we should also appreciate that kungogara pamba kunotipa mukana wokuona things differently, and kungota idle, you would start thinking a lot of things. But moving forward, Linda, there is broiler project, there is a production Mazai, and there's Roadrunner. Why of those three, why Roadrunners?
Okay, so we are actually pushing people to move from the broilers, the layers, and the ordinary Roadrunners to pure breeds. Why? Because the pure breeds will not only limit you to one market. If you're doing broilers, you're going to get your chicks, feed them, and sell the meat. That's all. And if you get the layers, you're going to buy them, they start laying, you're selling the eggs. Then at some point you need to take them out because they're not laying anymore. You sell them as off layers. Then you start all over again. So we've had people complaining that I bought my broilers, this batch was not good. Now I lost all the chicks or they're not growing. But we are saying with the Roadrunner pure breeds, you get the chicks that have got the exact same characteristics as their parents. So what you simply need to do is you just get the genes. Even if you buy, you can start your project with 5 chicks and you can run that project for the next 60 or 70 years. Because what you simply need is to maintain your breeding stock. The chicks keep coming. Because once they start laying, I'm picking eggs, and every 7 days I need to put the eggs in the incubator. And after 21 days, the chicks start coming. It means every week I'm getting the chicks. I'll decide, do I want to sell the meat? Do I want to sell them as chicks? Do I want to sell them to other farmers as a breeder? So these pure breeds, they don't limit you to one market, but you can explore the breeders market, meat production, egg production. On the egg production, you can choose to sell table eggs. You can choose to sell fertile eggs. So the market.
Linda, when we speak of Roadrunners, some of us think about indigenous breeds. Are these the ones that you have?
No. We do have the pure breeds. So with these ones, we have the chickens that have got genes that grows very fast, that grows bigger as well. So with the ordinary Roadrunner, you need about a year so that she can eat it. After that year, it's still the meat. There is no meat. It's just a hard chicken with no meat.
At times you get a fat here and there, but mostly there isn't any
There
fat.
isn't, yeah. But with these ones now, I'm saying you keep them from when they get to 18, between 18 and 20 weeks. That's when they reach their slaughter weight. You are already slaughtering. One, the meat is there and it's not very hard. You don't need the whole day to boil the Roadrunner chicken. But just within a short time, the meat is tender.
And how many breeds do you have?
Now we are sitting at 40 different breeds.
And how do you manage 40 different breeds?
It's easy because what we do is we don't work on numbers. Let's say per breed. We don't need a lot of chickens per breed because breeding is that's the very important stage. With breeding, you select the best. You don't just keep and say, okay, I have 50 chickens of this breed, I'm keeping them. On that 50, I select the best, probably 10. I just need 2 roosters and let's say 12. 2 roosters and 5 hens. My ratio doesn't exceed per rooster doesn't exceed 5 hens. So if the demand is there, I can now have let's say 1, 2, 3 roosters and 5, 10, 15 hens. That's the maximum I can go per breed. So my numbers are not very big. So it's easier to market as long as I just maintain my compartments so that they don't cross, they stay in their compartment. There isn't anything difficult about keeping as many breeds as you want.
Linda, as we were touring at this place, I saw there is a black astrolabe, and they are quite huge, different from the ones that we see on an everyday basis. And I wondered, the ones that people show us out there, are they really black astrolabe? Because yours are massive.
Yeah. If you refer to the standard of the Black Astrolabe standard book, it will tell you the sizes of the Black Astrolabe. Those ones are not Black Astrolabes. They are just black chickens. So what people were doing, some of them were buying the roosters, the Black Astrolabe roosters, and giving them to their black chickens to improve on the size. But you can have the first batch with an improved size. But simply because the genes in that chicken are not for the Black Astrolabe, the offsprings now will begin to deteriorate. But if you go for the original pure breed, the offsprings will never deteriorate. They will actually improve from their parents.
So basically, Linda is saying that not every black chicken is a black astrolabe.
Yeah, and when you're buying black astrolabes, make sure you see the parent stock. Even, when you're venturing into a business like this, it's not something that you're just going to wake up and say, okay, I want to start this business, then you start. You do your research. You get to know the breeds that you want. Each breed has got its own characteristics and colors and stuff. So you need to understand those characteristics so that when you're looking at a chicken, you say, okay, this one is a Jersey Giant. This one is an Orpington. If you have no idea, that's when you can buy even the crosses. Because someone said it's an Orpington, you say, okay, because the breeder says it's an Orpington, I now have my Orpington. We've had a lot of farmers who say, okay, I'm selling this breed. Then we take a look at it and we say, no, this is not the breed.
Oh, we are sorry, this is not black.
This is not the breed. Yeah. Then our advice will be, just cook it and start all over again.
Okay, so Linda, there is your chickens, your roosters. They are so big. I know you said you don't sell this because this is breeding stock. But if you were to say one of the biggest that we saw there, and up to what weight will one rooster weigh of those biggest ones?
Okay, again, depending on the breed, we have some breeds that will get up to 6 or 7 kgs. It depends on the breed. Some they can get up to 7 kgs. So like you're saying, when we are selling, normally what I do, how I keep my roosters, every year I keep a certain number of chicks. Let's say 20 chicks per breed. On that 20, I want to select my next breeding stock. So you find in other breeds, you can see there might be a rooster, the father and the son. So I'll be comparing. Once the son is very active, I'll put the father on the side. So that's what I'll decide on. Do I want to sell it or do I want to cull it? So, but what I do, all the chickens that are here, I don't have anything that's above 1 year, 5 months.
So, but at what point exactly do you then decide to say we need to get rid of this breeding stock and bring in the new ones, even the hens themselves?
Okay, so I am breeding the chickens. At some point, I also want to eat the chickens. So what I do is when I have the chickens that has reached the point of laying, I say, okay, on these chickens, I told you I'll put 20 on the side. On those 20, I may lose some along the way. Once the chicken gets sick, whilst it's growing, even if it recovers, I'll not put it in for breeding. So I can keep it, then I'll have to eat it later. Then, so what I do is I go to my cage, right, to the fowl run. I select, okay, this one, I think this one has served its purpose. This one, I think it's not laying properly. This one maybe fell sick along the way. So with each hen that I remove from there, I put a new one. Or then the rest that I have, let's say the ones that I kept, that's the ones that I sell at point of laying.
Okay, Linda, we want to move to the most interesting part of this interview. People out there want to know about the monies. Is there money in this profits per se? After you factored all the costs, there's feed, there's labor. Are you making money out of this project?
Money is there, definitely. So when people look at these chickens, they say, these chickens are very big, and they think they're higher maintenance, but no, they're not. Because per day, this point of lay chickens, they consume 125 grams per day. That's the same
per head.
Per bed, per one chicken. They consume 125 grams, which is the same grams that the layers consume per day. And what's only expensive is when you are getting the genes. When we're referring to customers, we're saying you are buying mbeu from us. Mbeu has always been expensive.
Yeah.
So that's the only part where it becomes expensive. But like keeping them, even when I want to sell them at point of lay, or even let's say I want to sell them at not point of lay, if I want to sell them at slaughter weight, my cost for taking care of that chicken until it reaches the slaughter weight does not exceed $5. But when I'm selling this chicken, the minimum I can sell the chicken for is $80 because I'm selling you the genes. And then on the business aspects, right now, if you pay your money, you only get your chicks next week. The demand is very high. There is a waiting list. There is a waiting list. The demand is very high. It is. All my chicks are paid up until end of year. I'm taking bookings for January. So the money is there.
Yeah, yes. I wanted to ask about the market, and you have already touched a bit on that. But I'm someone who wants to start this project. You know, people, two things that people want is the market for Roadrunners. Is there money in Roadrunners? We've already touched about the money side, but how is the market? But you've also given us indicators to say that if you have a waiting list, it means that the market is broad. But can you dig deep into that?
Okay, so when it comes to marketing, you know, these chickens, they're not the type of chickens that you write on the gate that Hukupano. Because if I write Hukupano, the person who's coming is coming with a $5 note and saying, I'm looking for Huku and it. Then I say, Andina Zema $5, I have $80. Then they'll be like, $80? You know, we've heard those remarks. But why people are saying that is because they don't understand the whatever the breeding story or whatever the breeding issue or what it means to have a pure breed. They don't understand that. So what you need to do is to educate people on what it is the business aspects of the pure breeds. Once they understand, they will be interested. So marketing is very important. You need to create a name, you need to create a brand, you need to be known, you need to make so much noise. We are lucky that now there's social media. With social media, you can sell everything. You know, there are people who are doing vegetables. There are some people who are actually building houses from vegetables. And there are some people who are struggling to feed their families, but all of them are feeding the vegetable, are
vegetables.
working on vegetables.
Yeah.
The problem being the other one is marketing and the other one is not marketing. They are not known. So marketing is very important. That's why you say, okay, when you decide that you want to start into this business, make sure you understand the breeds and make sure you market your breeds. That's very important. You don't wait until they start laying, but from the very first day you buy your chicks, if you, let's say you create your pages on social media, you start posting the day-old chicks. I always tell people, post the day-old chicks, post the older bed. Then people say, oh, you're telling me these chicks are going to grow up to this size. They will follow your journey, they're interested. By the time your chickens start laying, trust me, you have people on your waiting list.
Linda, on a personal note, do you regret quitting your job and starting this project? Is it feeding the family? Is it bringing money to the table?
Well, this decision, I did not quit my job first, then start this project. I actually worked on this project. So the challenges I was facing, because I was going to work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah.
The challenges I was facing is I go to work on Monday. Then by maybe whatever assignments that I have, by 12 I'm done. But I can't leave until 5 because I'm supposed to be in the office working. I'm just sitting. But you know, my mind is now with the chickens. It was driving me crazy. I want to be with the chickens. There is a lot that needs to be done. I need to be on social media marketing my stuff, but I'm sitting in the office not doing anything. So I had to talk to my bosses. I said, you know, look, I'm no longer able to come to work. But they didn't want me to quit. I said, okay, fine. What I will do is, whatever assignments that you're going to give me, allow me to do them at home, then I bring in my results. If there is a meeting, allow me to come in for a meeting. After the meeting, then let me go. We had to reach to an agreement. Then I said, okay, if you want, you can pay me just for the hours that I come in. But you know, it was a decision that I make after thinking hard and seeing that, you know, there is so much potential in this and I should focus on this, and I don't regret.
So Linda, as we were touring this place, and I'm glad that you've brought one, we have seen that your chickens, animal macedos. What's the purpose of these sedos? And
yes, we do the sedos. One of the things that I'm passionate about is sewing. I do have a sewing machine.
Yeah.
So with these saddles, you find that there's a stage in chickens, it's called molting. There's a molting stage. So during the molting stage, the chickens tend to lose their feathers. So after they lose their feathers, you know, the roosters are on the heavier side and they have paws. So we discovered that our chickens the skin on the back was broken and, you know, they had wounds on the back. So we came up with this to protect the back.
So this is something that you created?
It's there on the internet. You know, we did our research, we saw it, then we said, no, we can also do it. You know, thanks to YouTube, you can learn everything on YouTube. We learned how to make one and we made, I think for all our hens, they do have this. It's just to protect them from the roosters, and it also assists on the growing back of the feathers after they lose their feathers.
And I'm not a farmer, but I know if there are no feathers on the back, if the skin is exposed, I think it will prone also to diseases.
Yes.
So yes. I think this is a very
it really protects their backs.
Okay. So Linda, I want to move on to challenges because it's not all gloomy and glory. Are there challenges that you face with this project?
Okay, most of the challenges that we face is disease outbreaks. We try by all means to protect our chickens, but sometimes Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win like all the time. For example, during winter, we had a lot of our roosters, they were not very active, so we didn't know what was happening, because at that time laying rate is also low. But when it became hot, when a disease is dormant for some time, in winter they were not showing, but as soon as the heat goes up, we discovered that most of our chickens were not well. Then we took one of the roosters that we had lost to the vet, and they said they have a parasitical disease. It's something that was like that was growing in the chickens during the winter. We thought it was dormant. It wasn't. Nothing was happening, but we didn't know they were sick. But when the heat came, they were affected. Then they started dying. But we managed to treat them before we lost a lot of. But I think we lost about 6 chickens. But 6 chickens in this project, that's a lot. So those are some of the challenges that we face. But other than that,
Linda, if you were to start this project over again, what would you do differently?
I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything, because I think I did this project with a mentor who really knew what he was doing. So he took me step by step, and so it actually became easier. And also the other thing about the Roadrunner pure breeds, they are very easy to maintain compared to the broilers and other breeds. As you can see, our fowl runs, they are dry, they are clean, there's even no smell of ammonia. So the work is not much. The work that's there is feeding the chickens, and you've seen we have an automated system for water. So our automated system, the water just comes from the tanks and fill in. It has this what's called the stop valve, that stop valve. When it's full, the valve stops. We only close it when we put in medication, that the chickens will take the medication until the water is finished, then we open it up. Otherwise, other than that, the water just runs in continuous, and only probably when we are cleaning the tanks. But otherwise, the work that's there is just the feeding, and that's all.
So Linda, in terms of incubation, are you not facing a challenge with regards to supply of power, and how have you dealt with that challenge?
Okay, I purchased one of the best incubators around. I bought my incubator from South Africa. We imported the incubator around 2021. Since then, it has never switched off. We've never had any challenges. It's running on solar, but electricity is my backup, and there's also a generator on standby. So we make sure it does not switch. And you find most people, sometimes we do during winter, when our laying rate is low, we can take eggs from clients. But now it's summer, it's hot. The incubators will be full with our chickens, always full. We are not taking eggs from clients, but we are also happy with our hatch rate.
Moving forward, Linda, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start a similar project?
Okay, I've got quite a number of advices that I can give to them. I can share. First is to research. Then research on, first maybe is to visit us. If you want to start from buying the chicks from us, is to visit us and see the breeds.
The model and the breed.
Even if you go on whatever platforms we share our information, on each breed we will tell you the number of eggs that it lays per year. So when you come, we ask you, the first question I ask you is, what's your market? What's your target market? Do you want to do egg production? Do you want to do meat production? Or you want to go into breeding? So if you want to go into meat production, I will recommend the breeds that lays more eggs, because they're going to give you more chickens. If you want to, same as if you want to do egg production. Then if you want to go into breeding, my advice will be at least start with 5 different breeds. On those 5 different breeds, we have 2 breeds that lays more eggs, because those ones, that's what most people want to buy. Then when you have those 2 breeds that lays more eggs, go on. There are some breeds like the Brahmas, they don't lay more eggs. But because of their features, the feathers on the feet and their size, people, they want them. So you should have at least a Brahma, Then if you go, same with the Orpingtons, if at least an Orpington, with these Brahmas and Orpington, you are not only, because your clients are not those who want to venture into farming. We also have some people who want to buy them just as ornamental. They just want to see Orpingtons moving around their yards. So you advise them to take that. Then in terms of health and stuff, most people, they want to go organic. You can also feed these chickens organic. You can instead of giving them vaccines and medication, you can use gavakava, mtiti, miripiri, garlic. That's enough medication and vaccines and all you need in that. Then they can feed them, like, the organic feed, whatever they're farming, they have on their farm. They can free range as well. They can have them free range. So we do have some people who are saying, okay, I no longer eat broilers because of certain health conditions, But with this chicken, they can still enjoy their chickens and feed them whatever way they want.
So Linda, do you offer lessons or are your doors open to people that want to come here and learn? And how can people reach you?
Okay, we do offer poultry training workshops. We do have another one coming on the 8th of November. So farmers, they do come. We don't take a lot of people because we want to interact more with the customers. So we do it on a limited number basis. So those people, they come. Some of them, they are already into chicken farming. Some of them, they want to start. So after the lesson, during the question and answer, that's when you actually learn more. Because someone is giving their testimonies. I've done broilers, and until this stage, then I tried. I was making money. Then one day I woke up. There were diseases. We teach people from the housing. There are standards on fowl and construction, and most people, they don't know that. So we teach from the fowl and constructions, brooding stage, which is the very critical stage, the selecting of eggs for hatching, which is also very important, and the maintenance of the breeds and different diseases and how you manage them.
There we have it, folks. We were at Pachihera Poultry in Greendale, Harare. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and if you want to learn more about Roadrunner rearing, please get in touch with Pachihera Poultry on the numbers below. Till next time, I thank you.